Right, we'll start by powering the unit up. We'll wait for the model number to come up. F67B1, this will be the model number that shows for all Runxin heads. So it'll tell you what model it is. Then it normally goes straight into the cycling. It'll show you the cycling up and down. If you ever see the clock symbol, which is here close to my finger, if that is on and the time is actually flashing, it tells you that the unit has lost its setting, it's been unpowered for too long. Normally when it comes factory default, it's been in the box for too long, so it will flash initially from startup. Right, the unit will lock itself after a few seconds. There's a little lock key that'll come here. If you ever see this lock key, you need to hold the up and the down arrow together for 5 seconds first to get rid of the lock key. If you're battling to get rid of the lock key, what you can do is unplug the power cord and replug it in. The unit will start up unlocked. Right, to get into the settings, you need to push the very first button on the left hand side once. Your spanner will come up. Then you can see straight away it's gone to today's time, and the time at the top here is 12:18, which is incorrect. If you need to change that time, push the first button again once. The hours will flash. Up and down arrow to sort out the hours. Push it again, it'll go across to the minutes. Up and down to sort out the minutes. And it's going to be like that for all the settings. If you push it again, it'll stop flashing. If you've made a mistake, you can push that button again. It'll cycle, so it'll keep cycling through every time you push that button. Right. The second button over here, the one with the finger pointing with the arrow underneath, close to my thumb here, that you never use in the program. So try and not use that button at all. If you do push that button, it'll take you out of the settings. The spanner will go away. To get back into the settings, push that first button again. So I normally tell the guys, take one finger and cover over this button over here so that you can't make a mistake. Right, so we were happy with the time. To get to the next function, you can just push the down arrow. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no other display on the screen, so this tells you 2 o'clock in the morning this unit's going to do a backwash. Push the down arrow again, F00 if you want to do lots of little backwashes. So instead of doing 1 2-hour backwash, I can change this to F05 and it'll do 5 smaller backwashes, but you will have to modify the time. But at the moment, leave this at 00. This is generally if your water is very dirty and you need to do lots of backwashes because you're battling with the incoming dirt. But this is a very rare thing. Right, and if you wanted to change that same principle, first button, start flashing, you can change the number up and down, but for now leave it on F00. First button, stop it from flashing, down arrow to the next setting, 1-03. So this will backwash every 4th day. I know it's got a 3 on the screen there and it looks like the 3rd day, but you've got to remember 00 is a day. So 00 is today, 01 is tomorrow, 02, so on. So it adds an extra day. A lot of people can make that mistake. So just be aware, if you put it on every 2nd day, it'll actually be every 3rd day. But generally on a carbon filter and all that, you would like it to initially start backwashing once a day, and then later on you can move it up. So we'll push that first button to get it to flash, go down to 00, and we'll leave it at 00. So every day at 2 o'clock in the morning, this is going to backwash. Right, we'll cycle to the next setting. This is the actual backwash time. So 10 minutes is a little bit big. We normally change this down to about 8 minutes. So you push the first button, hold the down arrow, and it'll start cycling. Initially it'll start off slowly, but then it will speed up very quickly. So you've got to be careful. So we'll leave this at 8 minutes. Further on down the line, as these filters get better with filtering, you can drop this time to 5 minutes, but I would initially start with 8 minutes. Right, first button to get it to stop flashing again. We'll go down to the next setting. This is now the rinse cycle. The rinse cycle on this is default 10 minutes, which is way too long. We can bring this down to a minute. So same thing, first button to get it to flash, hold the down arrow and it'll start speeding up. And we want to get this to around about a minute. Okay, I'm just going to leave it on 1 minute 30 for now, but 1 minute is more than enough for this setting. We'll go down to the next setting. B01, this is for the relay inside the head. At B01, the relay will act normal. B02, this will pulse. So you can actually send pulse signals to a computer if you want to know exactly where this is with a computer, and you can monitor this off-site. But for now, this is not necessary. We'll go down to the next setting after that, and you can see we're back to the time. And that's it. If you want to double check your settings, just scroll down, 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 down until you go through. It'll come all the way back around to time again. So this head is set. Right, you can also look on the top of this head. There's a little indicator over here that tells you which mode the head is. This dot over here is a bypass. If you move that dot to this bypass, you'll have to unplug the power or the motor will automatically kick in and try go past. But if you put this dot on, the water will not go through the media. It will actually bypass the head completely. So this is if you want to check if there's a blockage inside the filter. That's quite a nice feature, that. And then also you can manually set this into backwash. You can do it by hand. You can turn this while the motor is moving. It doesn't matter if you turn this while the motor is moving. You can only turn it one way. You'll see it won't be able to stop at this point because the motor is going to drive it right past. But if you want to stop it, you can unplug it and leave the power off in bypass mode. But you can keep turning until you get to the next setting. It'll automatically stop there, or you can go past the backwash, go to rinse, and every time it stops on one of those, you'll notice the corresponding symbol on the front of the screen will match to what's happening on top there. So that's also a double check. And then we can keep turning and put it into service.